All right, let's continue to learn the command line. So far, we've learned commands to navigate the file system, right? Go here, go there, cd to this directory, cd to that directory, pwd, ls. We saw the navigation. How do we get from one place to another place? If you are using the UI, those are the actions we would take with the mouse, right? Double click, it goes to the folder, double click, it goes to the folder, things like that. Now we're going to start looking at actually working with those folders, creating a brand new directory, deleting a directory, copying a directory, moving a directory, files, the same thing, create, delete, move, those things, right? So the next several videos, we are going to look at that. Again, in the cheat sheet, definitely be using that. There's a section that says file and directory management, and we are going to look at the commands that are actually in here, all those commands. The next couple of videos, that's what we're going to do. Here on Windows, it's similar. The commands are very different now. Very meaning it's different commands. Because earlier, like CD was the same in both, but now both Mac and Linux versus Windows, they're going to be different commands. But the idea is the same, guys. What you have to learn is the idea. These commands, you don't even have to memorize them at this point. You can always look at the cheat sheet. But the idea of going through the process, the main point is for you not to be intimidated using the command line. All right, so you are watching an engineering toolbox course, which is a collection of topics that are essential for any engineer. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link to the course in the description, so make sure you enroll in the course, take advantage of that, because the course is more comprehensive. It has a lot more topics and a lot more content, and I really advise you to do so. All right, so let's get right into it. And so we're just going to start with the Mac. So I'm going to open the terminal, and I'm going not this terminal, not iTerm. I'm going to open terminal, and I'm also going to open the Finder. I'm going to go to a project. I'm going to go to home actually, and projects 2. Let's just say I'm going to go to projects 2, or maybe even create project 3. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a new folder inside of home. I'm going to go to File, New Folder. I'm going to call it My Projects. All right, I can right click, hold Option, copy path. Okay, just so I can get the path. Then I can go CD and get to that folder, right? CD in the full path. Hit Enter. Okay, so far we haven't seen anything new yet. I'm going to go back to the UI. I'm going to double click My Projects. So now here, let's say I want to create a brand new folder. I can do right click, new folder, right? I'm going to say sample 1. I can do that, or I can do file and I can do new folder, sample 2. I can do that. Correct? That's what you've been using so far. If you don't know how to use a terminal, you always do this. You open Finder or Explorer. We're going to see the exact same thing, and you're going to create folders like that. Let's actually go to Windows right now. I'm going to open this Finder Explorer, right? Then I can go to probably home. If you look at the paths, this is actually a weird one. Let me go. The file system on Windows, especially on Windows 11, is a little different. It needs some getting used to. I'm going to go to C. I'm going to go to Users, Admas, right? This folder here, and here you can do New plus New, and I'm going to call it My Projects. Hit Enter. Then I can just double click to go in there. Again, the same thing, right click, you can do new and folder, and I can say sample 1, and again, or you can do new here and folder and sample 2. All right, so we just created directories. We navigated to where we want to create the directories, and we created them, right, manually, nothing new. Now, how do we do that? Using commands, right? So on Mac or Linux, the command is mkdir, mkdir, mkdir. This command will create a folder. So you do mkdir and the folder name. That will create the folder. Okay. If you want to create multiple folders, like a nested folder, like a child folder, then you pass the option -p. We're going to take a look at that. All right. So for example, here, if I do ls, I see sample 1 and sample 2 that were created using the UI. So let's create another directory. So I'm going to say mkdir, mkdir. I'm going to call it sample 3. Hit enter, do ls, it's there. That's it. All this talk is just to show you this command, right? mkdir sample4. There you go. Okay, so if I want to do nested, for example, if I do mkdir sample5 slash inside 5, right? I want to create a new directory called inside 5. Hit enter. It's going to say no such file or directory because sample file does not exist, right? But if I copy this and I do mkdir -p, I give it that option, and a file path that doesn't exist, if I hit enter, now it's going to create this folder and this folder. So I can do cd sample5 and inside of it cd inside 5. Okay, if I do pwd, it actually created the entire path. Okay, so that's really all there is to it. mkdir, it will create a folder. Pretty straightforward. On Windows, mkdir is the same exact command. I think that's the only command in this list but that's the same. So let's actually do it. So my projects, I actually want to go there directly. I'm going to Control C. Oh, I'm going to do Control C, open terminal. I'm going to open command prompt, cd there, hit enter. If I do dir to see what's in there, there is sample1 and sample2. CLS to clear, mkdir sample3 dir. There you go. Sample3 is created. If you want to create multiple, let me see. mkdir sample4 inside 4. Again, syntax, you got a syntax error. Let's see if the -p option also works on Windows. Inside 4, let's hit, it does not. So there's a homework for you. I did not do this part. How do you create, a nested folder on a Windows machine? What is the option for Windows? mkdir -p does not work for, it looks like it doesn't work unless I have too much space. Nope, no spelling errors. It doesn't work for Windows, so that's something to look up. Again, that is your life going forward. Once you're an engineer, everything you do is look up things, right? You gotta remember, like for mkdir, today, you don't have to remember it, but I promise you, you will remember it because mkdir is one of the easiest ones. It's easy to remember. mkdir, make directory, right? So there's a lot of commands that you're not going to remember, but you can always look it up as long as you understand. Oh, now you know there is a command to make a directory, right? Before you didn't know that. Now you know there's one command to make a directory, so you can always look it up. You can always say, what's the command to make a directory? I'm using this as an example. Obviously, you're going to remember mkdir. I think mkdir is easy to remember, but in general, when you're going through this course, when you're going through this tutorial for command line, the commands themselves, you can always look up, right? We're going to stick with the basics ones, but there are some that you're not going to use every day, so they're very easy to forget. But most of those you are going to use all the time, so it's not easy to forget, all right? So that's really how there's all to mkdir. You create a directory. Once you create a directory, you can cd into it. Then you create a file, right? So create a file and create a directory. There are different commands, and we are going to look at that. So let's go to another video and continue to learn about working with files and directories.